Welcome to the Olivia Gamber podcast, a place where you unlock your maximum potential while living aligned. Here we dive deep into strategies, stories, and insights that will evolve and expand your mind and spirit. If you're ready to live an exceptional life, then I encourage you to stay committed to this transformational journey and be sure to tune in every week.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be back with a really fresh and inspiring group. And today's topic is all about rewrite the rules, rewire your world. And in a world right now where everyone's going through it, we're all feeling the squeeze of the challenges in business, in employment, just the economy. Everything is really on fire across the world. So I wanted to bring really inspiring leaders who I am so proud to be associated with through the Career Evolved community, because community is everything during times like this when you're really just feeling the squeeze. We all want to go through it alone. We all want to try to grit through it and keep our armor on. But when I had Renee, who's a client in the Career Evolved community, come to me and share what she's been putting together with Manu in her company and the inspiring force that they are, I was immediately drawn to their energy and their mission, and it is so aligned to what we stand for, which is really the values of authenticity, owning your value, and really personal empowerment. And then Emily has been to the table as well as a client who has this transformational coaching background, and all these gifts are what so many of us desperately need more of this energy right now. So I want to give each of you guys just an opportunity to give a quick 1 minute intro, and then we'll get into what do we mean by rewrite the rules, rewire your world. So I'll start with Renee. Go ahead, give a quick intro.
Hi guys, how are you? My name is Renee Asher. As Olivia said, we met through my decision, a very great decision, if I may say, to join the Career Evolved group. I decided in December that I needed a change, right? There was a lot happening, and I decided I needed a change. And I decided to join the Career Evolve group. And even when I did, honestly, I was 1 foot in the door of like, do I want a job? Do I want my own business? But during the first couple of weeks, I was able to establish really quickly that I need to go full force because, as she said, those gifts and your experiences transform into something to make impact, right? And my experiences, I've had the pleasure of working at really great companies. I've had the pleasure of working at some not so great ones. And I think my experiences, not just professionally and my skill set, but also my desire to impact the way people work, is what brought us here today. Founding, working together collaboratively as a Bosch group and with Career Evolve to try to make a difference and bring people to a place where they can work at a high level and make impact without sacrificing the human element.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Renee. And Emily, do you want to go next?
Well, I'm also in the Career Evolved community, which is a lovely community. And that's how I met Renee. And then through Renee, I met Manu. And working with them has really inspired me to lean into my passion. So I'm a coach, a strategic advisor, and a facilitator of workshops, trainings, you name it. And I've got about a decade of experience in anything from leadership development, marketing strategy, sales strategy, project management. In addition to that, I'm a certified coach. So I got my master's in transformational leadership and coaching last year while having a full-time job. Talk about a busy schedule. And I've been coaching since 2021. It's taken me a minute, as I've told these three, to really own being a coach, to overcome those limiting beliefs, that imposter syndrome. And it's been really lovely to discover my gifts at taking a high level vision, be it at the individual or organizational level, and boil that down into actionable steps that facilitate change, that facilitate transformation, that optimize systems, develop people, and just really combine my strategic thinking with my understanding of emotional intelligence and these delightful human dynamics that we're all at play with.
Awesome, Emily. Glad to have you at the table. Manu.
Well, hello, beautiful, beautiful humans. I really just took a deep breath. This is a moment for us to make life changes. And it's so important to realize where you came from and where you're going. So I'll start a little bit about me. At 14 years old, I was like, okay, I need a job at 14. And along the way, I found that discipline, even though I didn't realize that I grew up in Texas, that's something different, but the working age was different at the time. And when I could get a job, that gave me freedom. That also gave me the opportunity to connect with humans. And through that, I found myself excelling in being my authentic self until the day that my authentic self did not come to play. And so that started 14 years old at Six Flags Over Texas. Six Flags. And then
For the
from
Texas accent.
right. And then we went into retail. Then I went into restaurants, and then I went into global corporate America. And the one common denominator was there was always someone that cared for me along the way.
It's beautiful.
I want this platform, growth mindset, rewiring your thoughts to be so crucial that you can realize that it will change your life. I'm here today because of those little mindset shifts that I decided to make once I learned these beautiful modalities. So, 20 plus years in the business, I've been at some amazing tables and great stages, if you will. But I think this is the most important because in this time, that connection that I felt throughout the trajectory of my career is what we're here to do for everyone. And I think that's so crucial to just step outside the box, be yourself, and your personal CV is just as important as your hard skills CV.
Mhm.
And have fun. When did we stop having fun? We're in this together. So that's a little bit about me.
That was
Nice.
beautiful. Thank you.
Love it. Yes.
I think what you just said really resonates because it really transitions into the next topic because at Career Evolve, we speak to hundreds of high achieving professionals and executives, and right now the planet is going through it. Everyone's feeling the squeeze. Everyone's feeling it with the tariffs and the cost of living, the layoffs. Every business owner is having to really make hard decisions, and it's really tough to stay engaged and motivated and inspired. And everyone's just really trying to survive right now. And so when you guys are going through that season where you're just like having to find that spark again, where you have to keep that motivation, that belief, I would love to hear each of you sharing just a little taste and perspective because I know we're going to go into depth on the workshop that we're hosting, free workshop coming, but I want just anything you can give because you guys, we're all committed to that transformation evolution journey. So I know each of your story will really help someone today. So Renee, you're up first.
No problem. So for me, I would say I'm Jamaican, first of all. That's important, like lay the foundation for that. Because when I was growing up, I didn't have any taste of you can't do this, you can't accomplish that, because you're a woman, because you're Black, because that just did not exist in my world, right? So when my family came here and you're going to school and you're finding out the different cultural aspect of being here and even entering into the workforce, you start getting a taste of different challenges, right? And even trying to fit yourselves into certain situations. So, like you want to fit in, you want to make sure you're doing the right thing to try to push your career along. And I think in 2023, I thought I'd really found my space. I was at Google, and I really wanted to stay there, obviously, right? So when the layoffs came, I was absolutely devastated. But through my career paths and just the different experiences I've had, I came to a point where it's like, well, I want to make sure that I'm not just have to take a job, especially at this stage in your life, right? I think I've built a certain amount of resilience. I think that I've had many opportunities to break Like I had the opportunity. There are many times where it was like you're either going to get bitter or you're going to get better, right? And I had to make the painful decision. And just quite honestly, a lot of times I didn't make this decision for myself. I had two daughters, and I just like for many times I made that decision for them. I have to get better and not bitter. And when I started having the opportunity to lead teams and pass down some of that knowledge and see how impactful it was, because I think most people want to be good people, right? And I think most people want to have their value seen and recognized and want to do good work. And I think a lot of that just comes in a gap of knowledge of knowing how, right? Sometimes it's in actual growing, like, the solid skill sets, but sometimes it's in those social modalities. And I think when you give people that chance and that space to learn and grow, then there's that chance for them to understand what they need to do and to find the space where they're valued. That's important too, because you're not made for everyone. And I think that's an important lesson too, right? You can't fit a square peg, they say, into a round hole. And a lot of times we try to force ourselves into spaces where we're not meant to be. And I think it's important for people to understand their value, act out of their value, and then find that space that understands their value as well.
That is awesome. And I just wrote this one-liner down because there's nothing like a good one-liner, but you said you're either going to get bitter or you're going to get better. And I think this is key because someone that works at Google, you're clearly a high achiever. It's not easy to get hired there, but it's so hard when you're down to not get into that energy of bitter, energy of just jaded, cynical, feeling like a victim because you were laid off. And there's literally going to be a million people laid off in the market right now. So it's so important that you hear that right now. Anyone that's going through it, trust me, you're not alone, right? But thank you for sharing. With that, I'm going to go to Emily and then Manu.
Well, I'll start off with just 2024 was a year. It was a year for me. So my mother passed away early that year from a terminal illness. And right after that, I went into my capstone quarter of my master's. Graduated. That happened. Months go by. I'm laid off from my favorite job I have had yet thus far. I loved it. I worked at a creative agency, very purpose and mission driven aligned, director of project management, and financial issues hit, laid off. The election season happened, which was difficult for me because I live in Chicago. I'm more Democratic in my beliefs, but I was raised Republican. I have Republican family members. So the whole rift that's been happening in the country, I have felt very personally in my family, have been navigating, just having those conversations and still having my family, because since my mom passed, my family's has always been very important to me. And then I was engaged end of December. So high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And resilience has definitely been a lesson during that time, and shifting my mindset a lot to Renee. I love what you said about from bitter to better. That was really beautiful. And for me, it's like the gratitude work that Olivia, you preach in the Career Evolve program has been very powerful for me to start my mornings off with that state of gratitude, that state of abundance, and go into my days from that mindful place. And to have those moments of consciousness of like, oh, I'm noticing, I'm spinning, I'm doom scrolling right now, or I'm going down this. I just got an email that hit hard, and now my brain is going down this thought process. Pause. What do I need to do to reorient myself? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to phone a friend to just express and get pumped up? Do I need to go move my body and do some yoga? Do I need to grab my cat and force a cuddle with one of the two of them? And so really becoming present and conscious to where my brain goes, making a needed shift, and then getting back on track with what I need to get done has been huge. And working with Manu and Renee and doing the Career Evolve, these spaces have been really key for me, these community-led spaces.
Yeah, guys, we all need each other and we all need that hope and that support, no matter how conscious we are. We all need to feel that community and connection. So I'm just grateful you guys are here. We're all still in a storm, going through it in some way. No one has it all figured out yet, right? So we're all human, and this is the human experience. So I'm so grateful you guys are being just so open and vulnerable with us, because that's what people want. They want the truth, right? All right, Manu, you're up.
And this is actually so beautiful just listening to this conversation, because it really goes back to connection for me. I had, talked about the numerous jobs that I've had, and my last one I thought was going to be the job for the rest of my life. So what do you do at 50 years old? Now I'm 51. Hey, what do you do when that dream ends? But then you also acquire anxiety, which you had never really understood. But anxiety shows up in your body in so many different ways: vomiting, the intrusive thoughts, the dysregulated nervous system. Then it ultimately shut down my right lung.
Wow.
And I was doing this all for a job. My loyalty for the job cost me my health. Now, I am on the other side of things. So I'll go back to the resilience. Abash, Career Evolved, Emily, this all makes sense. When we come together, the strength that we have in numbers it's the word I'm trying to use there.
We got you.
I couldn't even get it out. And okay, so as my lung collapsed, I was in the hospital for 10 days. My company, we were letting go. But one of the nurses in the hospital said to me, it was a spiral moment, if you will. The third treatment hadn't worked. I went from 4 days in the hospital to 10. And I was like, okay, this is my breakdown before my breakthrough. I have been stripped with everything that I know. And what tools do I have that I can pull myself out of this? And I'm going to tell you, it starts with growth mindset, because my mind kept telling me, not yet, Manu, not yet. What is next is you can start focusing on therapy. You can start focusing on mindfulness, gratitude journal I do in the morning, daily prayers, all of these things, working out, going for a walk.
Yes.
This was all created because I, in my last job, was taught these kind of social modalities that pick you up in the darkest of moments. And that's the key. And another one that I've learned is just take 2% marginal gain. If that's getting up out of your bed and getting to coffee, or just you want to go into the living room, get out of your bedroom and watch TV, do something that motivates you to keep moving. And I think that's why this workshop is so important, because I think if one person gets reached, our job is done, because I am that one person that somebody taught me, and now I'm paying it forward.
Yes. Love that.
That's beautiful. And you had a powerful one-liner. This is my breakdown before my breakthrough. And I just want to hit on that, because it's these dark times. If you're hurting financially, you're in the dark, you feel like you're losing everything. It does not define you. It reveals who you are. And in these moments, you have to go to faith. You have no choice.
Yep.
And so I just wanted to acknowledge that, because I know that's what brings a lot of alignment to this group and this conversation is we're unapologetically spiritual and bringing the spirit back to the workforce and to the business with AI and all the automation. It's making people really cold and disconnected, and we want to bring the connection back. That's why we're doing this workshop. So with this next question, I'm going to lump it into one big one because we're running short on time. But we came up with the name of this workshop on the 14th of May. Please mark your calendar at 3 p.m. Pacific. I'll give more details soon, but write the rules, rewire your world. I'd love for each of you to speak to that concept. What does it mean to you? How has that impacted your life, your career, your business? Renee.
So I think that, I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying tabula rasa, right? And basically it says children are like a blank slate, and that whatever you write on them is what you get out of them, right? And I think that a lot of us are just a lump sum of our experiences, right? And when those experiences are negative and traumatic and you embrace them and they become a part of the way you survive and the way you live, a lot of times you don't even realize that your experience does not necessarily define the truth. It may be your truth, but it's not the truth. And so a lot of times I think when you start to work out what makes sense, what's healthy, and get a clear perspective on, you know, a healthy way to do things and develop and grow and to be in the world and how to treat other people and how those things can actually um, change the way that you're interacting with the world and change what you're receiving. I think it brings a different way that you present yourself to the world and the energy that you bring, right? And I think it also gives you a different power of choice of where you want to be, who you want to be with, and to understand that you do have the opportunity to choose. It's not easy, especially now we see it's not easy, right? Because for a lot of us, like frankly, that solution that we're looking for and that breakthrough that we're looking for is wrapped up in the problem, right? So it really means a more creative way of looking at it and also a different skill set a lot of times in order to break through. So, you have to just really be able to understand differently, think differently, embrace different skill sets, and embrace the problem sometimes to find the path that you're supposed to walk on. And so I think when you do that, a lot of times, instead of being stuck in that place, you can find something beautiful that you probably didn't even understand existed in the first place.
That is awesome. It's surrender to the journey and trust the process. I love it.
Yes.
Great share. All right, Emily, you're up.
A phrase that has popped up in my mind through this conversation is the power of taking our pain and transforming it into purpose.
Yes, love that.
And I'm really looking forward to this workshop because it's very much taking the inside out and understanding what's going on inside of us and how is that being brought into our external world in our external relationships. And so, Olivia, Career Evolved hits on some really beautiful notes on growth mindset, on limiting beliefs toward empowering beliefs. And our workshop really builds on that. Manu has brought in some incredible videos that give light to a different perspective on those things. And we bring in this, which I'll what the model's called as a teaser for training.
It's just to share.
But the model we go through is really powerful, helping us understand, oh, this thought I'm having is affecting how I'm showing up in this conversation, how I'm showing up in this interaction, how I'm
Yes.
showing up with my kids, in my marriage, with my family, with my friends, with my community. And so rewrite the rules is all about our internal rules and rewriting that pain, rewriting those rules, those limiting beliefs. And then the rewire your world is the outcome, is the purpose, is the level of engagement we have with our people and our community and our world. So I'm very looking forward to the transformational aspect of this training.
Thank you so much. What I just took away that I want to emphasize was the power of taking our pain and transforming it into purpose. This is not only transformational, but incredibly healing. And that's really what corporate America business, everybody needs it right now. And guys, this isn't just woo, it's transformation.
Yes.
And you can turn your pain into power. So I am so excited for this. Thank you for hitting on that. And Manu, what about you?
Okay, I'll make it quick. It's a combination of the two from Renee and Emily. That stillness that I was forced to sit in, that's when you start to reflect. That's when you start to put all these things into practice. And the biggest discovery for me, which was kind of sad, was the beliefs that I was navigating life through were not mine. It was the limited beliefs and behaviors of adults that formed me to be one way, so I could be one way, so I can mask and live in survival mode. No, take that mask off. Well, put it on first, then you can help others. But once you take that mask off, the resilience of the other side, the potential I've found in me, I think is the most rewarding gift I could have ever received in life. I matter. And this workshop is telling you, so do you. Let's discover what brings that energy out in you, what brings that best version of yourself out. And also to realize this isn't easy. This is hard. This is
Yep.
really hard to do. And as we sit here and smile and we're uplifting, we also have lives going and really, really important things in our lives as well. But what growth mindset has allowed us to do is show up. So
Yeah.
but that ties it all in, you know? Are you living the beliefs that are yours? I think that's a great place to start.
And I want to piggyback on that really quickly and say that, like, in terms of corporate America and everything that's happening now in the workspace, I think a lot of people feel trapped, right? And when you get into survival mode, I think that's when you start to see the worst of humanity, because then it becomes about like, well, I have to feed my family, I have to take care of my kids, I have to pay my bills, right? And so there's a cycle of toxic behaviors, especially in heightened times of crisis, like what we're facing right now. And you really start to see the worst of humanity. But I really do believe that for those who choose to embrace it, this can be an opportunity to lead with light. And as you're leading with light, to show that you can lead with light and make positive impact. Your revenue doesn't have to suffer, your bottom line doesn't have to suffer, but neither do your people. Right? Because I think as leaders, you have a responsibility, and most people don't realize that as a leader, you're a servant, right? It's not about like your perks and your title and the accolades that you get behind all this work you've done and everything you've accomplished. It's about the responsibility that you have, not only to the purpose and the cause, but to those that are looking to you for guidance as well, and who's in your charge.
And this is another thing when you're going through it, like humanity, when there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of people being squeezed, it brings out that scarcity, competition,
Yes.
shark, predatorial type business engagement. And what we really need more than anything right now is connection and community to evolve and rise together, because that's what's really going to lead to your breakthrough than trying to treat everybody as your competition, right? And so
Yeah.
it's collaboration that's happening at the top, the people that are collaborating and getting creative, right? We are here. So that's what we're here to do, guys, is bring leaders, professionals, really anyone is welcome to this. But our goal with this workshop, Rewrite the Rules, Rewire Your World, is to bring connection, inspiration, empowerment, and transformation to the broader community and give you guys a taste of the value we have to offer, but leave you with value regardless. We're really mission-driven leaders, and we want to give back to those who are really need that hope and inspiration right now. So if this resonated with you, I want you to go to www.careerevolved.com/connection. So that's www.careerevolved.com/connection. And go ahead and register. And even if you can't make it, we'll send you the recording, but I want you to attend live. We want to see you on video. We want to hear from you. We want to connect. We want to really vibe together and really build real relationships. So we really hope you can make it live. It's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. So that's May 14th, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. And don't worry, register even if you can't make it, so you will not want to miss this. This group here has poured their heart and soul into this workshop, and you're going to feel different after that hour. We guarantee it. So you will want to block the full hour and show up present, ready to really evolve and transform.
One fair warning to those who do join, it's interactive. This is not a workshop and you listen and you check your emails. No. You are engaging. You are
Great
talking. There
point.
will be
Need you all
breakouts
there.
that help you. Well, and it's purpose purposeful too, because it's
Yeah.
to ground in the body, ground in the physical, emotional experience of the material, which you get the most out of that way. So come prepared to connect and engage.
Love it.
Thank you guys. We will see you soon and looking forward to it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Olivia Gamber podcast, your hub for transformation to unlock your maximum potential while living aligned. Remember, it's not just about dreaming, it's about doing. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone who needs it, and keep showing up for yourself. Until next time, stay bold, stay brilliant, and in alignment with who you really are.